When Microsoft finally acquires Activision Blizzard King, they're going to have a lot of new IPs. So let's have a talk about what they're going to get. So what is $68.7 billion going to get Microsoft? So let's go through Activision's IPs and what they own. Let's do it in alphabetical order. That's the easiest way to do it, isn't it, YouTube? Yes, yes. Right, so we start with Assault Heroes, which is an arcade-style top-down shooter developed by Wanako Games. The players drive in 4x4 vehicles, piloting speedboats, or running around on foot against enemies. It's a twin-stick shooter, and it was originally available on Xbox Live Arcade. It came out in late 2006. I'm not going to set the world on fire, but that's another IP that Microsoft's got in its back pocket. Next up we have Blur, which is a game that's dear to my heart. We used to play this a lot with my friend group back in the day when it first came out. Brilliant, brilliant vehicle combat game, a bit like Mario Kart, but with real life cars and real life handling and real life places. And yeah, this came out at the same time as another game called Split Second, and both of those games basically cannibalized each other's sales, and as a result neither of them sold brilliantly. But Blur, it was a brilliant game made by Bizarre Creations. It was Bizarre Creations' last game, and yeah, I've got loads of footage, loads of like multiplayer meets on the channel. You might have to go like dig right down into the old videos. They're chock full of swearing, really bad audio quality because we're playing on those Xbox 360 mics. But the game, fantastic. You can still play it now, kind of. It was for sale on Steam, but got removed a long time ago. There is an active community on the PC version, but it's not. It is the actual game, but it's not. It's kind of running on like an emulation type thing, but it uses the original game to do that. It's quite. There's a Discord. I'll link the Discord link in the description if you want to go and check it out. Yeah, brilliant game. Brilliant game. Love Blur. Love Blur. And when Microsoft buy Activision Blizzard, they need to make Blur 2 because Blur is brilliant. And as far as I'm aware, a few of the developers from Bizarre Creations now work for Playground Games on the Forza Horizon games. So, yeah, perfect, Microsoft. Phil Spencer, perfect. Get Blur 2 on the go. Yes. Yeah, should make me very happy. Next up, we've got Carcassonne. I think I'm saying that right. It's a turn-based strategy game based on a board game of the same name. That came out in 2007 for the Xbox 360. I think I actually own this game, but I don't think I've ever actually played it. Again, another IP in Microsoft's back pocket. Next up, we've got the Caesar video game series, which is that they're basically city building games, a bit like, kind of like SimCity, but Romans. And they started in 1992. It's part of Sierra Online's portfolio of games, and they were bought by Activision in 2008. And with them came a whole load of IP, some of which we'll be going into now. Next up, I don't really need to explain what this is. Call of Duty. Everyone knows what Call of Duty is. Originally made by Infinity Ward, and Infinity Ward was made up from the guys that made Medal of Honor Allied Assault back in 2002. Yeah, if you don't know what Call of Duty is, you must have been living under a rock for the last 20 years. So the first one came out in 2003. Next up, we've got Crash Bandicoot. Now, everyone must know what Crash Bandicoot is. Crash Bandicoot was basically Sony's unofficial mascot for the PS1 era. The original batch of games were made by Naughty Dog. Everyone knows who Naughty Dog is. They make PlayStation games now. They used to be a multi-platform developer, or at least a Windows developer, and then Sony bought them, and then that's it. That's what now all they make is PlayStation games. But Microsoft are the bad ones, are buying third-party developers and making them only make Xbox games, aren't they? That's hypocrisy at its best. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot was a third-person 3D platform game. Pretty good for back in the day. So yeah, Microsoft will now own Sony's unofficial mascot. Brilliant. That's turn up for the books, isn't it? Next up we have Diablo. Everyone knows what Diablo is. Diablo 4 just come out. Action RPG. Started in the late 90s in 1997. Came out on PC and then eventually found its way to PlayStation. Yeah, it's just a dungeon crawling action RPG. Yeah, everyone knows what Diablo is, surely. Surely everyone knows what Diablo is. So yeah, Microsoft will now own Diablo. So that'll be coming to Game Pass, no doubt, and Steam, because Microsoft want every game out on Steam. Next up, we've got DJ Hero. That's a music video game. Came with a plastic peripheral of a deck, and we had some buttons on it. It could tend to be, you know, that kind of thing. You know, being a DJ, you know, it's a music game. I don't think we'll ever see this one ever again because no one wants to make peripherals for games anymore like that. Retailers don't want to stock them. People don't want to have them cluttering up their cupboards and like hanging around under the stairs and things like that. No one wants that. No one cares anymore. The days of those games are gone. But Microsoft will own DJ Hero. Next up, we've got Empire Earth, which is another Sierra Online game. And this is a RTS game, and you go, it's a bit like Civilization, you go from like medieval times up to like future tech. I never played it, but apparently very good games. It's out in 2001. Microsoft will now own a pretty good established RTS franchise. Next we've got another Sierra Online property, and that is Gabriel Knight, which is a point-and-click adventure game series. First one came out in 1993. These games have a bit of a cult following. I've never played Gabriel Knight games, but they've got a bit of a cult following behind them. And are apparently really, really good. So I will get around to playing one of these one day. And then coming back into the Microsoft fold is Geometry Wars. Geometry Wars was a multi-directional, I think it was a twin-stick shooter, I'm not really sure. The top-down multi-directional shooter, and it first appeared in Project Gotham Racing 2 as a minigame. And then was spun out into its own thing, made by Bizarre Creations. But in PGR2, you had to like access the game via like it was like a fake arcade cabinet in your garage where you kept your cars. And off you went, you know, played Geometry Wars. They took off from there. Then we've got Guitar Hero. Everybody knows what Guitar Hero is. Like DJ Hero, it's a game with fake guitars and drums. It later had drums and things like that in it. And no one wants this game no more. No one likes these games. Originally made by Harmonix, who went on to make Rock Band, and they tried to bring Rock Band back not long ago, a few years ago, and it didn't really take off. No one wants plastic guitars hanging around their house, and retailers don't want to stock plastic guitars because they take up too much room. So we're probably never going to see this ever again. The next IP we've got is Gun, which is a Western-themed action-adventure game. Developed by Neversoft, who made the Tony Hawk games. Yeah, this was one of the games that straddled generations. It came out right at the end of Xbox, original Xbox, and 360 when that came out. That's one of those games that came out on both systems. Sold really well when it first came out. Like 225,000 copies in its first month, which back then, that's pretty good sales, That's pretty good sales. I think it's got over lifetime sales to be like 1.5 million just in the US. Will we ever see Gun again? Will we ever see Gun again? Who knows? Who knows? But Microsoft will now own it. Next up, we've got Hearthstone, which is a free-to-play online digital collecting card game. I don't really ever play these. I played Gwent in Witcher. That's pretty good. But yeah, these quietly make like tons of cash, and I think it's still going. I don't know. According to Wikipedia, as of 2017, it was making $40 million a month. So, do people still play Hearthstone? I don't know. If they do, it's making a hell of money, and Microsoft's just going to be going, oh yes, please. Oh, Phil Spencer's going to be, yes, give me that Hearthstone money, please. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got Heroes of the Storm, which is a MOBA like Dota. Never played one of these. I have zero interest in playing these. This one came out, was played by loads of people to start off with, and I think it just like fell off a cliff and no one wants to play it anymore. And as far as I'm aware, in 2022, it's like gone into maintenance mode and no more active development. I thought it had been shut down before then, to be honest with you, but apparently I think it's still going. I don't know. I'm not interested in these games. But yeah, that's another property that Microsoft will own. Heroes of the Storm. Next up, we've got an old school game, Heretic. Heretic is like a fantasy version of Doom. Uses the Doom engine from 1993. This came out in 1994, made by Raven Software, who nowadays are more or less just a support studio. Hopefully they'll go back to being like a main developer that they used to be back in the day. But yeah, this is basically just Doom with wizards. Wizard Doom. Yeah, let's just call it Wizard Doom. And then next we've got Hexen. Again, same type of game. It's like an indirect sequel to Heretic. Made by Raven, again. It came out about a year after Heretic came out. Same type of thing. Doom with wizards. Wizard Doom. We keep seeing Phil Spencer wearing t-shirts with Hexen on. So that makes me think, as soon as they buy Activision, they're going to be making another Hexen game. Then we've got Interstate 76, which is a 3D vehicle combat game. Not much to say about this, apart from it's a bit like what's that game on the PlayStation called? It's got Sweet Tooth and stuff in it. What's that called? What's that called? What's that game called? Can't remember. Let me have a slip of this. Not much more to say. Vehicle combat game. Will we see another one of these? Probably not. But it's another IP that Microsoft own. And then we've got Vigilante 8, which is basically the same thing as Interstate 76, but it came out on the PS1 and then 64. Again, will we probably see this game again? Probably not, but the IP will be owned by Microsoft. These games are okay. Not Flash, but they're alright. Next up, we've got the King's Quest games, which are another Sierra property. Graphic adventure game series, which was released between 1980 and 2016, so they've been going for a long time. There's quite a lot of them, and they're like another one of these cult classic games. I own them all on GOG. I will go through them at one point. I don't know when that's going to be. But yeah, right at my alley. They're like little RPGs, adventure game RPGs. Now we come to the Lost Vikings, which is a puzzle platform game developed by a company called Silicon and Synapse, which, if you didn't know, that's what Blizzard were called before they were called Blizzard. You take the control of 3 Vikings, you can switch between them whenever you want, and you basically just run around, platform game, trying to solve puzzles. You might need to use one specific Viking to get through specific areas of the game, that kind of thing. Came out on the SNES, on the Mega Drive, or the Genesis, and the Amiga, Game Boy. Finally came to like PS4 and Xbox One later on when they re-released it. Now we've got Overwatch. Everybody knows what Overwatch is. Online shooter. I don't need to say anything more than that. Everybody knows what Overwatch is. Overwatch 2 came out not long ago. Yeah, it's Overwatch. Everyone knows what Overwatch is. Everybody. Next up, we have another game I've never heard of before, is Phantasmagoria, which is a point-and-click adventure horror game from the mid-90s. Another Sierra Online property. What's great about this is it's one of those FMV games where they've got really bad acting and they're really funny to play nowadays. And this game was made when it was like those FMV games were at their peak, with games like Wing Commander and like Night Trap and all that kind of stuff. And then next up, we've got the granddaddy of them all, Pitfall. This came out originally on the Atari 2600 way back in 1982. Everyone knows what Pitfall is, surely. There's loads of sequels. They turned into different types of game from the original, but the original was basically just run to the right and jump, and it's Pitfall, man. It's Pitfall. Everyone knows Pitfall. Next up, we've got Police Quest, which is kind of like King's Quest, but police and not medieval. Same type of thing. Graphic adventure game. Another one of the Sierra games. So yeah, Police Quest. It's just they're like police adventure simulation games. Next up, we've got Prototype, which is a 2009 action adventure game. A bit like Crackdown, in the way that you could run around and jump over buildings and jump up buildings and stuff. Yeah, you basically play this dude who can like make like knives out of his arms and stuff. A bit like Venom from Spider-Man. Yeah, open world, third-person action game. Next up, we've got Quest for Glory, which is a hybrid adventure role-playing game series. Again, another one of Sierra Online's properties. These games are like hybrid adventure role-playing games with like real-time combat. I'll be honest, I never heard of these games before until I started researching this. Will we see another Quest for Glory? Who knows? And next up, we've got another Silicon and Synapse, so that's pre-Blizzard vehicle combat game. That's Rock and Roll Racing. Came out on the SNES in 1993, and then later on the Mega Drive in 1994. It's like a isometric vehicle combat game. Really good, really good. Will we see another Rock and Roll Racing? Who knows? Then we've got 1982's River Raid, which is a vertical scrolling shooting game. Fun fact, developed and programmed by a lady called Carol Shaw, who was one of the first ever female game designers and programmers. I remember me and my cousin used to play this on the Atari back in the day. We played the hell out of this. Love this game. Love this game. Next up, we've got another Raven game, 2010's Singularity. It's a bit like a bit of a horror-esque FPS first-person shooter. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Will we see another Singularity? Who knows? Who knows? Next up, we've got Skylanders, which is a Toys to Life game. You bought your toys, you stuck them on a portal thing, they appeared in game, and then they just wanted you to buy more toys. Yeah, they just want you to buy toys and stick them on, and then they want you to buy more toys and more toys and more toys. I think that's the only way you could get. I never played it, I think that's the only way you could get the characters was to buy the toy. Next up, we've got a game that I used to love. I played the hell out of this game. Soldier of Fortune in 2000. Another Raven Software game. You played as John Mullins, who's actually a real-life Vietnam veteran, lent his likeness and his name, etc. to Soldier of Fortune. The thing about this game back at the time was you could dismember the hell out of people in this game. You could shoot them in the stomach and their intestines will all hang out and stuff, blow their heads off, blow their arms off, blow their legs off. I'm pretty sure the sequel got banned in a couple of countries for being like too gory. But I used to love this game. I used to love this game. Will they make another Soldier of Fortune? I don't know, but hopefully they'll re-release this game because it's epic. Next up, we've got Space Quest, which is another one of these King's Quest, Police Quest, Space Quest games, action adventure games. Another Sierra online game. You play the role of Roger Wilco, and you go around space adventuring. Yeah. Then we move on to Spyro the Dragon, 1998 PS1 game made by Insomniac, who make the Spider-Man games nowadays. Yeah, it was really good back in the day. Will we see another Spyro? Who knows? And then next up, we've got Blizzard's RTS Starcraft from 1998. RTS game. Fun fact, this was supposed to be a Warhammer 40k game, but they lost the license and so had to change the names of everything. But I want to say they got in a bit of hot water because the designs of the units were very, very, very close to Warhammer 40k. I want to say there was like a legal thing happened. We haven't seen a StarCraft game since 2016. So will we ever see StarCraft again? I don't know. But again, it's another IP in Microsoft's back pocket. Next up, we've got the SWAT games, which are technically a spin-off of Police Quest. They are set in the same universe, but they are tactical first-person shooters. Will we see another SWAT game? Who knows? But again, another IP for Microsoft. Next up, we've got 2007's TimeShift, which is a first-person shooter developed by Saber Interactive, published by Vivendi, but the Vivendi got bought by Activision, so that's why Activision owns it. It was like you could like freeze time and rewind time and forward wind time. I remember playing this on the 360 and thinking it was pretty good. Will we see another Time Shift? I guess time will tell. Next up, we've got the Tony Hawk skateboarding games, and this I think we will see again. 100% they're going to make another Tony Hawk game. 100%. Everybody knows what Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is. Everybody knows what this game is. I don't need to explain what it is. You know what it is. I'll shut up talking. Next up, we've got the true crime games. These are like open world GTA type games. First one came out in 2003. Fun fact, True Crime Hong Kong got cancelled and eventually got changed and became Sleeping Dogs. Next up, we've got Wolfenstein, the 2009 Wolfenstein, which is kind of an indirect sequel to 2001's Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Another FPS made by Raven from 2009. Yeah, this is a really good game. Now it can come back into the fold with the rest of the Wolfenstein series, which is owned by Bethesda, because now they own everything now. Because Raven developed this, so they own Raven. Yeah, I don't need to say anything else. Next we have World of Warcraft, which came out in 2004 and is still going today. I don't need to explain what World of Warcraft is. It's an MMO. You know what World of Warcraft is. And then we've also got Warcraft, which is the RTS, which first showed up in 1994. I think there's 3 of them. Again, I don't need to tell you what Warcraft is. And then finally we've got Zork, which is a text adventure game from 1977. Very important game. But yeah, Microsoft will own Zork. But that's a lot of IPs that Microsoft will own as soon as they get hold of Activision officially. Do you think we will see any of these IPs ever again? Pretty sure we'll see another Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure we'll see another Tony Hawk. What other games do you think we'll see? Do you think we will see another Soldier of Fortune? I bloody hope so. I love that game. Blur. We need to see Blur 2. Blur 2 has to come out. Has to come out. Phil Spencer, if you're watching this, which of course you are, because why wouldn't you be watching this epic video? You need to make Blur 2. You need to get Playground games on Blur 2. Immediately. Immediately. Make it happen, Phil. Make it happen. Look at my eyes. I'm being serious. Make it happen. Comment on this video. Let me know what you think about what I have said. Do you think we'll see any of these franchises ever again? Or do you think some of these are going to be dead and buried? Will Microsoft bring some of these games back? And do we think these games will ever come out on PlayStation? If you like the video, and why wouldn't you, there's a button for you to press specifically for that purpose. If you watch this video all the way through to the end, A, thanks, B, subscribe. C, if you already are subscribed, thanks a lot. Much appreciated. If you look up here, you'll see our latest video. Maybe it's me playing Fallout. Maybe it's Von playing Fable. Maybe it's another one of these news videos. And then round about here, you can see another video. And it might be me playing a 40k game or something else. Who knows? Give it a click and give it a watch. Right, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.